it was very lonely. I had a very small group of friends that I can say I still have to this day because we were kind of like the group of oddballs of the school. You know, we were the nerds, we were the fat kids, the people that just didn't fit into with the cheerleaders and the jocks and everybody else. So we found support amongst each other. But for the most part, going to school, I would beg my grandparents and eventually my mom, just please don't make me go to school today because it was just torture every single day. Every single day I knew matter what I did, what I wore, how I spoke, what makeup I did, how I did my hair, how I walked down the hallway. It didn't matter what I was going to do. They were still going to make fun of me because I was an open target to them. I allowed it to happen so many times, and I never stood up for myself, and I never said no.
The kids that go through bullying, they feel so powerless. Like you, right? Like you go into school and it's supposed to be a place where you're very social, you're very young, and it's the time of your life, right? And here you are not wanting to go to school, right? Were there times where you felt like you just didn't belong in this world?
There have been many times when I felt I just didn't belong in this world. I mean, especially in high school, I felt I didn't belong there because I wasn't tall, I wasn't thin, I wasn't one of the pretty girls or the cheerleaders. There have been times when, even when I was in church, I grew up in church in a Pentecostal church of all things where we were taught, you know, that we're to be soft spoken and that we're, you know, not to beautify ourselves, that we are to down ourselves. And it took me leaving that atmosphere to realize that I was being controlled and manipulated, that we were created, if we're supposedly created in God's image, then that's a beautiful thing. And we want to be able to have self love for ourselves. And being in church, even people made fun of me in church because people are people no matter where you go. People are going to make fun of you at church. They're going to make fun of you at high school. They're going to make fun of you at work. And it just, I think it takes a strong character just to say, you know what? It doesn't matter. I don't matter to you. You don't matter to me. So let's just go on and agree to disagree.
One of the ways that
I
I was
mean,
able to overcome that, sorry to interrupt you, was I had to find a way to love myself
yeah,
outside of what the type of love I wanted for other people. I look back at high school, especially because middle school was a little bit different. I look at high school, especially because your body's changing in so many different ways because many of us are going through puberty at that time, right? Now kids go through puberty at like 1 years old, right? Right. But back then it was a little bit different. I look at some of what the men and women are going through, and just having your body change because of puberty opened you up to ridicule. But if you add in the fact that you're overweight, which is still to this day viewed in a negative light, right? Like you look at online, I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but you look at like online dating, right? And a lot of men are like, if you're going to ask us how tall we are, we need to ask you how much you weigh, right? Because they look at weight as such a turnoff, even though they can still be attractive in their own way or
right.
attractive to other people, right? Like a preference is a preference, but I don't think we should bully someone or put them down because of their preference. And I wonder how many people end up with thoughts of self deleting or maybe causing themselves harm because of what they went through as a child. So, for your childhood, were there times where you had dark thoughts or you had experiences where you didn't know where it was going to take you in the future.
Oh, there were definitely times I had dark thoughts, and it's why I had to start writing because it was something that I would dream about at night because I would try and hide it because of the type of family that I grew up in. I didn't want them to know about that I dreamt about that I wanted to hurt myself because I was so sad. And people just kept making me go to school. They didn't understand the torture that I was going through. So I started writing about it. And I found the more that I wrote about it, that the easier it kind of got because I got some of that poison out of me.